everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand, and welcome to the Forum. A professional result, 1-0 in Spain, in Seville, at Real Betis. Stadium was lovely, the result was lovely, and we go through on the aggregate of 5-1. So a good night for Erik ten Hag and a good night for Manchester United, but there's still stuff to break down, there's still conversations to get into, so stick around with us. We're also going to be previewing the Fulham game as well, talking about rotation, and I've got a great panel here to do it. So we've got Double A debut on the Forum. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for calling me up for some minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're finally getting the start.
I know, yeah, it's good. Normally I'm just doing a couple of minutes on the fan vlogs, but no, thank you for having me. It's
people get to see a full, well, I'd say 90 minutes, it's 60 minutes, but they get to see a full game. And we've got Kev as usual, and Faz as well. He's taking the hot seat of the Godfather today. Ricky is in Spain, in Seville. He'll be watching.
You know, I'm still Ricky. Time. I just got a tan. That's all it is. That's the difference.
do not let this seat possess you into saying things like McTominay is better than Casemiro.
Elanga today was fantastic.
You've got to Faz has been getting his Ricky impressions ready.
I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, you can. I'm going to make I'm going to make you do something in a bit, but we'll get straight into it. Faz, actually, I'll start with you over there. I mean, a decent performance, nothing amazing, nothing spectacular, but it was good. And are you surprised at the fact Ten Hag didn't rest that many players tonight?
Very surprised. I mean, I'm gonna eventually start raising eyebrows, with this decision making. Thank God though that nobody got injured. Nobody got a booking, because if somebody got injured or a booking, we would have been sat here saying, mad. What are you doing? Because look what happened to Eriksen, look what happened to Casemiro as well this season. We don't want to be risking anything at all, especially with the likes of Rashford. I was saying it with you guys, Fulham game is so important for us coming in the next few days. But I'm glad that everybody's okay. I just feel like either he doesn't, and I don't blame him, I think he doesn't trust his bench as much as he trusts his starting 11. I think he's very, very careful with bringing players on, and he's very aware that I don't want to give away a lead. And I think as much as I want to raise concern as to why he doesn't start certain players when you have a 3-goal lead, it also shows me the serious amount of militancy that he has and the discipline. Like, it's beyond me. Because me, you, anybody else, loads of us would say, Sancho should start, Elanga should start, Weggy should rest, Bruno should rest. But this man is he's dealing with that level of like discipline where not any player is going to get a rest. Nobody is you're not coming off the hook. You're expected to play every game and win. And I guess that's what it is. And same goes for the bench. You have to earn your starting 11 spot. You don't just get it because we're in a 3-goal lead. This is something I'm learning from Ten Hag as well. Just because I've got a 3-goal cushion in the second leg doesn't mean you're going to start. You must earn and show me that you deserve to play. No matter who we could be playing Wrexham in pre-season. You still have to earn it.
Yeah. I like that take. I mean, Kev, I'll come to you next. A couple of people did get a start today, and I think definitely one of them's earned it in the likes of Palestra. You got a full game today, full 90 minutes, full shebang. What did you make of Palestra coming into the team?
Thought he did really, really well. Early on, thought he looked lively. He kind of looks, you look from a distance, the haircut, he looks like old school Lionel Messi. You know, that low centre of gravity. And before Charlie thinks of clipping me up in the back, I said he reminds me a little bit of him. Not he's better than him or anything.
I thought that as well, to be honest, the way he runs.
You know, we've seen it recently. There's one thing that Ricky will obviously love. Obviously, he's at Betis, will be the fact that this lad gets it to the byline, pulls it back. And there's a space for him at the minute. The fact that Garnacho's injured now for what's possibly 6 weeks, the door has opened up for Palestra. And he's a really good talent, really interesting. Again, you look at somebody who's a little bit unpredictable. You don't know what to expect from him, but good performance today, really good. I think he's definitely talked himself in contention for the weekend, make no doubt about it. But on reflection of the game, fantastic result. You know, it's job done. The hard work was done in the first leg at Old Trafford. Saying that, I thought there was going to be more changes, but like Faz has touched on, I think Ten Hag, it's all about momentum. You know, keep Martinez in. I thought there was going to be possibly 5 or 6 changes today, and when you look at it, what was there? Only Malacia, Harry Maguire. You know, you look at that and you think Casemiro possibly playing. if he gets a yellow card, could miss again with Fernandes. But no, he's gone with his strongest team. He's thought, let's get this done. We've got a big game at the weekend, and it's all about momentum for Ten Hag. Keep the spine of the team, the strong team, and then bring people in when the job's done.
Put trust into the players, absolutely, definitely put trust in. And everyone's coming over now from Mark's stream, so welcome everyone, and welcome to Double A as well. It's his debut on the forum. But I mean, it could have been a different story today. Say if Bruno or Casemiro did pick up a yellow, a lot of fans would be screaming at home, being like, "What? Why has he done that? Like 4-1 up. Why has he done it?" Do you see why he did start them two players? Because they were both brilliant, weren't they, today?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the thing with Ten Hag that we need to sort of remember is that he's such a winner and such a sort of top-level coach that he's taken every game we're playing now, and it's a final. He sees as a must-win game. It's in that back end of the season now. We know every game's important. We're close to finals, close to semi-finals and stuff like that. So I can fully understand why he's made some changes, but kept a lot of the first team there. Casemiro's obviously going to miss a few games. Yes, he was walking the tightrope with a yellow card potentially, but you know, you got to trust, like you say, the trust in the players to get the job done. And I kind of disagree with what you're saying in the performance tonight. I think that's a perfect European away performance. I mean, we rode our luck a little bit in the first half, and we're quite lucky we had that cushion with the goals. But, you know, we got out there with a 1-0 win, clean sheet. Maguire will be happy with that, as you were saying before, Kev. And I think we come away from that in any other game in the league or a cup competition, and you're happy with coming away out of Spain with that win. And it's only going to breed more confidence to them players like Pellistri and like Wan-Bissaka, Malacia and Maguire, that they're being trusted in them big away performances and getting the results.
I think the game plan, sorry Beth, was always going to be the fact of we had one foot in the door, we're 4-1 up. So to go into this game, I think the game plan would have been to sit back and play on the counter. You know, we're not going into 0-0. It's not like we have to go there and score a goal. I think it was more or less, all right, you lay a glove on us, we're going to sit back here and we're going to hit you on the counter-attack. And that's exactly what happened. That was the game plan. So defensively, it was executed. And from a counter-attacking, you know, point of view, United have kind of sat back and gone, right, what are you made of? Betis had to take the game to Manchester United this evening. And that's what it all rode on. Could they get an early goal? Yes, they nearly did, but they didn't. And then United, fantastic goal from Rashford, you know, wins it.
And do you know what? Fair play to, I mean, it's very, very unusual I say this, but fair play to Maguire. You know, came in, there was a lot of pressure at first from Betis. Like Faz said, they start off very high tempo straight away, they fade throughout the game. But there was a few nervy moments, especially in the first 20 minutes. And yeah, he's nowhere near it the level of Varane. Absolutely nowhere near it. And you can see that potentially in the summer it would be time to move on, but to go there and get a clean sheet, I know it was kind of a nothing game in the sense, it's not a nothing game, but for me the game was already won. We were never going to lose that when we were going there 4-1 up.
No.
But to go and get a clean sheet, it's nice for that solidity in the defence and to know that can happen. I mean, Faz, couple of changes tonight, Maguire, Malacia, Pellistri. What did you make of the changes? And Wan-Bissaka starting as well, which is a
yeah, I was surprised that Bissaka started. I actually thought Dalot, it's a nice game to play him where he's not feeling the pressure, trying like that light I referred to, try and get the light, a spark, so light again, and then get Dalot back in that energetic form. But Bissaka played, and it's okay. Look, Fulham is a very important game, and it's important to make sure players are fresh as well. Some of your key players, attacking players, are fresh. You have to give prop to Maguire and Malacia and Pellistri. You have to. They came away with a clean sheet, Malacia and Maguire, and Pellistri, you know, he got an absolutely unnecessary, pathetic booking from the referee. The referee was shocking. Again, yet a shocking referee. And he got the ball clean, and the referee and the Betis player stomped on him, and the referee ended up giving Pellistri a booking for some absurd reason. But I really enjoyed, you know, especially Malacia, because I have no attachment to Maguire, as you guys know. Done. He can go. I have a lot of attachment, as I tell you, to Malacia. He's one of my favourite players in Man United, and some of the other boys. But I really enjoyed Pellistri's level of intensity constantly. He gave away the ball many times. He had bad first touch. Decision making in the final third sometimes a bit shaky, but he constantly kept at it. His energy level is constantly, and we're going to talk about the elephant in the room eventually, right? Mr. Jadon Sancho, we'll come to him. But his intensity throughout the whole 90 minutes, at 22 years old, Manchester United, at any cost, Facundo Pellistri cannot go on loan. We will be outside Old Trafford and we will stop that loan move. A player like this should not be leaving Manchester United.
We can't afford to let him on loan.
This is the type of player.
It's reported that he's going on loan.
No, he is not. No, he's not. That's false news. It's not happening. Did you see his desired willingness today in a game like Betis away? He didn't need to give this much energy.
Well, Ten Hag said
His
the
work
reason he's
rate
starting
was
games is
unbelievable.
because he said he probably should have been starting sooner or playing sooner because of how good he's been in training.
And he's different to everything we've got in terms of a wide player. And like we say, no other wide player we have gets to the byline and puts the cross in. He's the only one that does it. Like you said, low centre of gravity as well. And I think he adds that different dimension than other options that we've got in that wide.
Can I just refer as well? The reason why he's so pivotal is I'm going to refer to Garnacho. I'm going to refer to 2-1 Manchester United Man City game at home. What happened? Garnacho dropped in, left foot, pinged the ball in, and found it was a Rashford who scored the winner. Same thing. This is the exact same thing Pellistri can do. Yeah. You see how his centre of gravity is so low. He almost rides challenges off, comes onto the byline, and he manages to whip the ball in with his right foot. That's exactly what we need. When Rashford's playing a number 9, touch wood if we get an Osimhen, a Vlahovic, whoever we get, those are the type of balls we need in the box
100%.
for the strikers to feed off. Wout Weghorst, not there. I'll be honest, not there. So Pellistri, Garnacho, they need to be staying in this club for the future striker.
Yeah. Do you know what as well, when you look at like an Osimhen, I've heard a lot of people say, we don't have the type of wingers that suit him, like Rashford's inverted, Anthony's inverted. We need players that are going to be getting crosses into the box. Pellistri can do that. And do you know what I like today as well? Like he ran it players, and so a few times it didn't pay off for him. He was getting doubled up on quite a lot as well, but he kept going, and that one where he nutmegged the player ran through, and it was really unlucky he didn't manage to get the touch across. Just really nice bits of play, and he wasn't afraid to keep going and doing that, and his defensive work rate was brilliant as well. So, I mean, I'm with you. He cannot go on loan. He cannot go on loan. Who should be going on loan is Elanga. Elanga should be going on loan. Yeah. Pellistri should be staying here. Rory C says, Kev, that yellow brings out your eyes. Where did you get it?
God,
what, the shirt, the eyes?
Honestly,
I don't have a clue.
I told you, did I not?
You did, yeah, you did. You're very complimentary, Faz, thank you.
I mean, Double A, you talked about just a little bit about Wout Weghorst then. I know you're in the boat. I mean, everyone's in the boat where we need to get another striker. But I mean, this guy again, another full 90 minutes. Ten Hag does seem to be relying on him for a lot these days.
Yeah, I think that's more a case that he has to rely on him more than anything else and what he's bringing to the team, other than, you know, his massive work rate. Become a cult hero in the fan base, which is, we saw it with Ighalo, but I think, you know, for me, he's worse than Ighalo because he's not got the goals that Ighalo was bringing. Luckily, we're winning, and we are getting buying games with him in the team. And let's be honest, we're in that state at this moment, in this season especially. We're loving every player that's playing for United, and I can't say too much. He's come in, he's doing a job, but beyond this season, he can't be wearing that red shirt. No chance. We need to be getting good quality replacements in to take us to that next level. But for this season and what the job he is doing and the work he's putting in, you got to give him his props. He definitely deserves the credit for sure. Yeah,
I agree with you. It's a good stopgap. Again today. Just something, it's just not the elite level. I'm not going in on him. We won the game, I'm really happy about it, but it's just something for the future. You think, God, what could we be doing with that type of goal scorer in the midfield? But, I mean, he's playing 90 minutes, seeming every single game. I mean, people thought he was slow before. He's going to be, you know, it's hard work doing that every
the thing is, on Ruud van Weghorst, the difficult thing for Ten Hag has been trying to navigate this situation. He probably couldn't have foreseen what was going to happen with Ronaldo. Yeah. You know, it's hard to think that Ronaldo's actually played for Man United in this competition this season. Yet now we find, you know, he's in Saudi Arabia playing there. Obviously the Piers Morgan interview sped up and led to his departure from United. So from Ten Hag's point of view, he's going to owners who... What's up?
Arsenal 1-0 up.
Oh.
Sorry.
I thought I said something wrong then. I was like, what was said? But from Ten Hag's point of view, he's at a club where he's got to go to the owners then at a difficult stage of the season and ask for money for a signing of a striker. Yeah. You're looking at a time when players will not want to move for whatever reason. They might be playing in the Champions League. They're at their respective clubs, so it's really difficult. And Ten Hag's had to go out and bring in somebody that he has worked with in the past. And I think he's done a good job I think, do you know what I go as far as to say? I think he's just like one of the most unluckiest people, Weghorst. You know, you look at some of the situations he gets into.
Okay, let me ask
Kev.
Kev this. Kev, why is all his goals slide tackles?
Because he's a horse.
Kev,
come on, man.
He's always scored his goals while his bum is touching the floor.
He's not like
Even today.
This is the thing. I've said so many times. I was in the stands when he scored that goal at Old Trafford. I was nearly crying of happiness because I was that happy for him. Like, the guy, he speaks so well. I mean, Adam's interviewed him on the United stand. He speaks really well. I mean, I just wish him all the best. But it's not because he's unlucky.
The one instance today, right, I looked at in the first half, was it the Casemiro flick? And he isn't switched on, is he?
No.
You know, he kind of flings himself at the ball, and then you look and think, if you've got a Kane, a Haaland, somebody who's switched on and anticipates that, you're going 1-0 up.
He's about 8 foot as well, so how's he not reaching that with his head as well? He should be getting there. But I will say for him, he's probably not expected to play this many games.
Yeah.
And the problem we've got is we can't rely on, I won't mention his name so Faz gets angry and stuff, but the number 9, we can't rely on him.
Fit,
so
but not in Spain right now. It's
this
just annoying,
is, yeah, it's just grinding everyone's gears a little bit.
How are you fit and you've not flown to Spain for some vitamin D? And I thought vitamin D is supposed to be good for your body. I don't understand this kid.
Yeah.
Oh, Zayn Miassi in the chat. Arsenal are on in the Europa League. What? I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching us. I appreciate you sending the super chat. He says, "See you in the semi-finals. What a bench we have: Saka, Odegaard, Trossard."
Because United are bigger than Arsenal. That's why he's watching us. That's what it is.
See you after the final when Man United have won it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come and join us then. Like, get involved with the party. You don't have to be celebrating Arsenal. You can celebrate United when we go and win it. But thank you. And a lot of people asking about Ricky. He's getting some vitamin D himself in Spain, in Seville. So Faz is taking on the hot seat tonight.
That man's overdosing on vitamin D. That guy's always away, isn't he?
He's got a private jet at this rate.
Does vitamin D make you think McTominay's better than Casemiro?
There is such a thing as sunstroke. It does go to your head. You come out with mad things.
I mean, on Casemiro, I mean, Kev, I again thought he was one of the best players on the pitch tonight. Kind of came back from that red card so well, was brilliant, first to every ball. I thought Bruno was brilliant as well. It just seemed to be quite solid in that midfield. What did you make of it?
When I initially heard the team, I've got to say I was surprised he was in, but at the same time you look at it and you think, how's Erik ten Hag looking at this? And he has just picked up a red card, which will see him out for 4 games, which obviously starts after this. So he's obviously looked at it, thought this is Real Betis. And again, I'm going to go with a strong team. And Casemiro, regardless of what Ricky was spouting in the last show, I told you before we come in here, I said, I actually had to go home, this is an hour after, and watch back what he'd actually said, because when I was sat here, it really didn't process. Yeah. And when I watched myself back, I'm kind of sat in the middle, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank style again going, and I'm like, what? Did he just say McTominay is better than Casemiro? You know, listen.
Well, his exact words is Casemiro's not that important as people make it.
Right, if he's not as important, he doesn't play this evening then, give him a rest. You look ahead to Sunday and you've got somebody in mind to replace him and you give him a run out tonight because we're 4-1 up. But Ten Hag thought, no, this guy is the heartbeat of the team and Casemiro is the heartbeat. And I know Ricky was saying McTominay's got great energy, runs round, but I did return and say, listen, Casemiro doesn't need to run around the pitch like headless chicken, looking lively, because he's that experienced. He reads the game, he stays in his position, disciplined.
Let's put it this way. Say if you're Real Madrid going into a Champions League final and you have the option between Casemiro and McTominay to play with Modric and Kroos, or, I mean, that's who it was back in the day. Now, say it's, Valverde, Camavinga, the players they have, Tchouaméni. Do you think they're picking McTominay over Casemiro?
He's not even in the squad. He's not even in the matchday squad.
Ricky is our version.
Wild take.
Ricky is our Southgate. He has his favourites. That's simple. He has his favourites.
He doesn't even think McTominay's that good. He told me he doesn't think he's that good. He just doesn't think Casemiro's like what everyone makes out. But it's weird because when I saw him in Sociedad a few months ago, he said he was in his top 3 favourite players, Casemiro. So what's changed? I don't know. Well, he said he wants to do a
sunstroke.
Show. He said he wants to do a show to explain it with me. So if you want to tune
Cannot
into that
wait for that
coming
one.
soon.
Yeah,
An hour long of McTominay talk.
He said he wants to explain exactly what he means, but we'll have to wait.
I
and see.
want
Do you know
front
when that
row
happened?
seats, and I'm getting the popcorn out, and I'm going to sit and just
Can we sit over there?
take it
Yeah.
all in.
Like,
We're
I want to
there.
sit there and
Yeah.
watch it.
When you were saying it the other day, I wasn't on the forum. I was in that little room watching it. I was literally sat there. Ryan will tell you. I was screaming. I was like, "Kev, Faz, say something, say something." I was like, "No, I just really wanted to just run on."
Should have done a
the set and be
Kanye
like, "No."
West and just stormed on the thingy and just said no.
Oh, it was the shock of it. I think.
Anyway, guys, let's get to the like you said, a bit of the elephant in the room. And I mean, a lot of people saying they thought Sancho's cameo was really good tonight. I thought it was good. Didn't think it was anything special. Didn't think it was bad. I mean, Double A, what do you think about this? Because surely, if you're Sancho, you're thinking, why am I not starting this game?
Yeah, it's a conundrum, isn't it? And you know, he's had that whole period of being out for a while, and you think he'd be chomping at the bit to not only just get back into the United team, but his England future's in the balance as well. We saw with the World Cup, he's missed that. It's very important now for Sancho to start putting in these performances that makes him undroppable. He's obviously, we've got Anthony. He's looking at Garnacho's now got an injury for him, but Palestri's now come in, showing that he can do bits on tricky aways, tricky away fixtures. I want to see Sancho looking interested. You said it when he come on. Why does he not look like he cares or he's bothered? We need to see an angry Sancho. I think once we see that little bit of bite and that little bit of aggression in his play, we start to see the best out of him. He has nice little moments. It's that consistency, and like I say, I want him to be a bit more gritty and just go for it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think he definitely needs that fire in his belly or something. I know every player shows it differently, but I watch him and I want him to do so well, but I just don't see the grit. But Faz, I mean, what do you think? You were so shocked he didn't start, weren't you?
Yeah, I was shocked and I was disappointed. This is concerning. He's been sent abroad. Let that sink in. He's been sent away from family, from friends, from the organisation to go and get himself right. The lad had to wipe his Instagram and social media. There was some serious things going on, and he's addressed it and he's come back. And yet still, except for the 80-odd minutes that he's played, remind me against who, I don't remember. But after that, nothing. It's not gradually built minutes.
Yes.
And he's not a youth player. He's not an academy player. This is an extremely expensive, I'm sorry to say, one of the most highest paid players, if not the highest paid 22, 23-year-old in the world, if not in the league. Probably Mbappe is obviously more than him. This is concerning. Where does his future lie? We can be sitting here saying either this is a Ten Hag masterclass and he's pressure cooking him until next season. And he's like, right, this season is done for you. You're just going to come off the bench for me. I'm going to give you the odd minutes. Here you go, minutes, whatever. And then come next season, we're going to have a fresh start of your preseason. We're going to reset. You've been under my wing for a season. And then maybe that's what he's doing. And I hope that's what he's doing, because I'm not writing him off. But I still have to have my concern. If I'm not seeing it on the pitch, I'm still free to raise my concern. And to the people that may think this is whatever, it is not. We love Jadon Sancho. We just want him to start building on what he was doing when he got sent away. We want to know. And nobody here can say, you've seen anything. The odd goal doesn't mean anything. Look, Elanga's had a freaking moments in this season as well. Does that mean Elanga's all of this? No, it's not. No. He needs to start building, and he needs to start competing for his position. His position got took by Anthony, and then now Rashford's on the other side. He's had a little moment in 10. But Ten Hag's done a couple of experiments with him and said, right, sit back down.
I think the key word you've said there is trust, and this certainly, at this moment in time, the way it's playing out, is not a player that Ten Hag trusts, and it's not a player that Ten Hag bought. It's an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signing. Ten Hag put his money, where his mouth was, went back to Ajax and bought a player that he believes in Anthony. And at the minute, when you look at the pecking order, I think if Anthony Martial could get back to fitness, he jumps above him. Rashford's clearly above him. Palestri at this moment in time is probably the more exciting. Yeah. And also, like you say, Garnacho is injured, but if he's fully fit, I think Garnacho's ahead of him. So you look at a pecking order there, all of a sudden you think he has got a lot of work to do to get back into this team.
And
at the same time, I'm not writing him off.
How many wingers did he look for in January?
Yeah,
that's true.
Why was he looking for wingers? He looked for Hakpo, this guy, Depay.
He's now linked to the Ajax winger.
Now he's linked with... Why?
I've
He's got Jadon Sancho.
I've not even mentioned Ahmad yet at Sunderland. You know, he's playing really well. You know, I'm sure at some time Ten Hag will look at that and think, well, he's doing really well. I know you can say whatever you want about that league, whatever the standard of football, but he's still performing on a weekly basis. You know, he would be an asset to Man United to bring back.
My worry as well for Sancho is he's now been tried in 3 different positions and he's not performed consistently well in either of them or any 3 of them. I know he's had a little bit of a session in 10 recently. He come on and scored that goal and we all thought, right, finally he's unleashed, he's coming back, he's going to show some form, but he needs to nail down a spot. And like you said, there's players ahead of him now that are all performing consistently or coming on and doing more than he's doing. He needs to look at himself now and think, where do I fit in this team and how am I going to get there quick enough that I'm ahead of the players that are looking like they're doing more than me for the team.
Weghorst has done more in the 10 than what Sancho has.
I think that's a bit unfair.
He has.
But it's true,
what
though.
you've
I think
seen.
it's true. Barcelona away, you look at Barcelona away, Weghorst, I want to see that performance from Sancho.
He wouldn't be capable of
He
that.
wouldn't be able to do that in the new camp for me.
That was one game, but can we never remember when he came off the bench against Leicester? He was brilliant, Sancho, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but Leicester.
I know it's different. It's different. Do you know what it is with Sancho? I think if I was him, I'd be thinking, like, obviously he can play number 10. But I do think Ten Hag is giving him a chance because he obviously thinks, good, I've got Garnacho, I've got Palestrino, like you said, all them wingers. Let's try Sancho in the 10 role. Let's do it. Let's try and... Is that a sign that them wingers are ahead of him? The fact he's trying to move him into the 10 role?
No, of course it is.
He's trying to find a spot for him.
His position is to be on the flanks. That's his position. That's where he's made his name. So Ten Hag trying him in a different position clearly shows that, well, I don't really have anywhere to put you. Go and play in the 10 position.
Do you know what I think though with Sancho? And I really, really was so excited for this player when he joined. Like I still hold out hope. I really do.
Yeah, we're not writing him off.
He's only 22. Like
we're not in Van der Beek territory yet.
No, we're not.
So we've still got a little time. And I think the good thing about Sancho is that I think I give him a free pass from last season. I didn't. Everyone started this season on a clean slate. He, for me, obviously Van der Beek is Van der Beek, but Sancho's the only one I can't see enough from. Everyone else has come on leaps and bounds. Dalot, De Gea, Lindelof, even when you've seen Wan-Bissaka, Shaw. He's the only one that's still lagging from last season, and I think he needs to... the manager can only do so much. He can only say, I'm trusting you to do this or that. He now take it on and show that he's the right man for the job. Whether he can do it is yet to be seen.
This is such a good point that every player has increased their value. Every player has shown... I can give you something for you to consider me for a Carabao game or a FA Cup game. I have shown something. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka, January links with this club, that club, still here, still performing well. And to the point where we're saying Dalot needs to be in the bench. These are good headed. Malacia, again, solid performance. Not the best going forward, but defensively, absolutely tight. Pocketed Salah at the start of the season as well. But Jadon Sancho needs to, you are absolutely right, the manager, the coaching staff, all of these guys, they can do so much. At the end, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I really want to be here? Do I really want to fight for my position? And do I want to be part of what this manager's building? Whether that means put me in bench. I think Jadon Sancho is maybe, I'll be honest, slightly upset. I think Jadon Sancho is slightly upset that Ten Hag doesn't start him and probably rate him as much as he thought he would.
And like you say, the one player he needs to look at is Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. Because months ago we were sat here and we were like, he's gone. He's gone. Out on loan, whatever it takes, not a chance. Dalot's taken that spot. The way he's rose to that challenge has been, testament to the man himself. Yeah. He's reinvented himself. He's gone. Why would it want to go anywhere else? It's a step down, isn't it? A step back to go back to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, of course.
He wants to stay at the top.
What I do think, though, with Sancho is, that is a perfect example. We had Romano on the show the other day, and he said we're probably not even going to look at getting a right back in the summer now. Like, that is a massive turnaround.
Timber was the first choice, don't forget.
Yeah.
Do you know how big that is? For a manager to turn around and say, right then, let me go and spend this 50, 60 million elsewhere.
It's huge. But what you've got to remember, at Dortmund, Sancho, he had Haaland, didn't he? Really quick, number 9, physical. Man United go and buy the likes of an Osimhen in the summer, you could potentially see I don't know.
That sounds a bit like unlocking Pogba.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like that.
Yeah,
One player shouldn't. He's got enough quality around him. Casemiro, Bruno.
I know.
You know, all these players that can bring the best out of him. They're trying their best. He needs to match up, like we've just said. He needs to reach their level now and put in that effort that everyone else is. Because, like you say, it doesn't look like he's doing it. He probably is, but it's not enough.
Can you name me another player who's lower in terms of intensity than Jadon Sancho in the squad?
No. And do you know what I would say to that? I would say, if I was Ten Hag, I'd say, look, you've got a place in this team and giving you chances, you need to show it. I want to see Sancho, say if he comes off the bench or if he even gets a start, I want to see him sprinting into tackles, like, you know, looking like he's got like a bit of a chip on his shoulder, a point to prove. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him aggressive. I want to see him like hungry. It doesn't
didn't need a Haller for Anthony to start doing some bits, even though he's X, Y, and Z, whatever. Didn't need a Haller. Didn't need a Haaland or a Osimhen for Rashford to kick on. Didn't need a Haller or whatever for Dalot and Bissaka to kick on. Didn't need 3 new centre backs for Malacia to kick on. You know what I mean? So players individually still have to increase their level regardless of who's around them.
You raised a good point. I think he definitely needs to look at Wan-Bissaka because I've never seen Wan-Bissaka play with so much confidence. It looked like last season his confidence was gone. He was playing within himself, and now he's doing little 1-2s with Bruno in triangles. Technically, come on leaps and bounds.
Looks like a new player.
It looks unbelievable, and if he can a little bit more, you know, the crossing can be a little bit better. But he's really listening to the manager, and there's enough players there and evidence, like we've said, for Sancho to look and say, "Why am I not there? What am I doing wrong that I'm not getting these results?" So he can do it. We know he's got the talent. He just needs to match that now with the intensity and hard work.
Yeah, let's see if it can happen. I hope it does. I mean, a lot of important games coming up. I mean, Garnacho's injured now, so obviously we don't want him to be injured, and I hope he gets back as soon as possible, but it frees up another spot for him to be, you know, play in. So let's see. Rory C says, he's slow in fairness, but at least he's available. Give me that every day of the week over Martial, who needs to be moved on. Wout does as well, though. And then we've got Michael Morris. Rashford's goals are really masking over poor performances lately. I think that's unfair. I think Rashford looks like the only out-and-out goal outlet for us. He's dangerous. He might ghost in the game, but you know he can come up with a goal, and goals win your games. And that goal today was brilliant. I mean, anyone want to come in on that?
Great players do that. Yeah. You know, especially players that are in form, the form that he's been in. You even look at the goal in the Carabao Cup final, which I didn't think was his goal. I thought he hit it into the floor, you know, across the goal. But you've still got a bit, you know, to win the raffle, you need to buy a ticket. That's the kind of form that he's in. It's almost like when you're in a rich vein of form like that, you feel like everything you hit is going to go in the back of the net. And today, as an all-round performance, yeah, you might say it wasn't great. It's not what we expect here at Manchester United. But bloody hell, look at the goal. Look at the finish.
I'll just say as well, you know what's so important for Rashford to be getting these goals, and I don't know the person's name, I forgot, is it Michael? Michael who said that. So, look, Michael, if you think of Cristiano Ronaldo, not comparing Rashford to Cristiano Ronaldo, but Cristiano Ronaldo in his, you know, early years when he was scoring from 30, 40, 50 yards out, no matter what moment of the game it is, defenders and the opposition manager are scared. They're fearful. You do not know what's going to happen.
Explosive
and this is
pace.
Today is the prime example of defenses and managers and oppositions needing to be scared. Again, reference Mbappe woke up 80th minute, he wakes up. Until that time, he's nowhere to be seen on the pitch. He's nothing. Players like these are very important to a team because you can, when you're 10 players around you, they will think, we just need to stay in the game, boys. We need to stay in the game, keep the clean sheet. We've got that guy on our team. Long as that guy can get just one moment of brilliance, we can go. If Marcus Rashford scored 1-0 in a Champions League final, in a Europa League final, and dropped a stinker, not one of you would complain. Nobody would complain. And if today was a 0-0, Michael, you would have different thoughts as well.
And plus as well, he missed the absolute sitter, and then like a minute later goes and scores that goal. That's good mentality.
He said, forget this, mate. I will have this, Michael. That's when he probably scored that goal thinking of people like
you. That's one of them, in five-a-side, when you're losing 7-0 and then you've missed a hatful of chances. So I'm just going to whack it and see what happens. And this is the thing about Rashford and what he's brought to this team this season is he is now the franchise player. He's Eric Ten Hag's man. He's clearly backing him the whole way. And they're the type of shots he was doing last season that just whack the first defender or go miles over. He was not scoring them goals last season. Now he believes in everything that he's doing when he's on the pitch, and he knows if I take the chance, I'm likely to score, and that's why he scored 25 goals, is it now? Or however many goals he scored this season. Long may it continue, because I love backing him, and when he's on the pitch, we're always in a chance of scoring a goal.
Just to add as well, just to add as well, Zayn Miasi, he sent Partey for a portion of chips with salt and vinegar. I remember as well.
That was a class.
Yeah, that was class. So,
well, like your celebration, it's all up here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but and Rick, fast 1.6.
1.6, Rick. 1.6. Have that today, Rick.
And if Rashford hadn't been playing today, the goal would have come from somewhere else, according to Ricky.
Yeah.
I couldn't see that happening, but I mean,
Probably McTominay, I guess.
But that's
Or
it.
Elanga.
It's a special goal today, because you know for a fact Rashford hasn't played brilliant, but like you say, that main word, threat, he tripped over the ball a couple of times. He worked himself into positions where you knew the best defenders were scared stiff of him.
Yeah.
Even the goal, they've kind of stepped off him in a way and thought, that's too far out. You know, as long as we can keep him out here, he's not in the area, and then wallop.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic finish.
I don't understand people saying he didn't have a good performance. I don't understand what people expect of him.
think of how many chances he had. He's the only player that had them chances.
I don't
You know what I mean? He's
understand.
getting himself into positions.
If
he's
I
making
have
them
Marcus
runs.
Rashford in my squad, I do not need you to defend.
No.
I need you to score a goal. Anthony, I need you to defend, because you might have a moment where your left foot works out, but other than that, let's be honest, you're not going to be doing a lot, right, until you get a striker or what Dalot overlaps. So you need to be defending. Marcus Rashford, you don't need to be defending.
No.
You need to stay on high up on the pitch, and when the ball comes, just do
On
what
the
you do
defender's
best.
shoulder, innit?
Rashford's about conserving energy. Well, he's not going to be tracking back up and down the pitch like
He
a
does
madman,
need to,
like a Scott
track back
McTominay.
sometimes, but he does that.
He does that.
He does
Sometimes,
help out.
but it's all about them explosive moments. You know, if he can get in and around the box, and then, you know, Mbappe mode, where it's like bang, and it's that explosive pace, and it's all about conserving that. You've seen and heard from Haaland at Manchester City. He does that absolutely brilliantly. You know, he can drift in and out of a game. He might not touch the ball for 20 minutes, but he'll end up taking the match ball home, scoring 3 goals.
Exactly.
It's all about just using your head and knowing when to channel that.
He scored the winning goal in a great performance away from home in a tough European stadium. I'm happy with his performance.
I think if we get a striker next season, Rashford will get fewer goals, because I think Rashford will use his speed and use his colleagues' speed to put balls in through. People are saying he doesn't create a lot, but that's because he doesn't have someone to match his and speed.
Yeah.
He runs so fast. Very few players can keep up with him, and you need a striker that can match the runs, because you don't want to be offside, but you don't want to be way behind as well, because the ball needs to go forward, not backward, for your striker to score. Yeah. And Rashford is the type of player, if he receives the ball, he's going to go inverted, or maybe even go on the outside and try and ping one through, and he needs someone to meet the ball. So that's, you know, I think next season we'll see him create a lot more. Hopefully we
Weghorst ain't keeping up with him
hopefully
anyway.
we get whoever we get, a good striker.
I know who I want.
Striker.
I know who I want.
Yeah.
Who can definitely keep up with him.
Yeah.
And super chat in from Aaron STGC. It's like the injury for Dalot gave Wan-Bissaka his moment, and now the same for Pellistri. Sancho needs that fearless mentality going forward. I have to agree 100%. You've got to take your chance when it comes to you. I mean, I think Chatsport keeps saying if Bruno wasn't in this team, Sancho would be starting. Bruno is in the team, and he's brilliant in my opinion.
Yeah.
And again, he was really good today. I mean, Faz, I just want to come to you on this one, because I heard you saying that. I mean, Bruno Fernandes just plays and plays and plays and plays. Do you worry?
Yeah, I do. I think he's lost all his muscle. He's got no muscle left. The enzymes in his body have started chewing up all his muscles, because I'm concerned how many minutes he plays. This is not sustainable going through a season. He doesn't get injured. You know, I'm glad he doesn't get injured, but he can end up just knackering his body out. You know, you need to, a vehicle needs his MOT and service. He's not had an MOT and service in a while.
He'll get a summer holiday, that's his MOT.
I think international break and international break as well, you know, for his country as well. He's so pivotal for his country, so it's not like he's going to get a break there.
I mean, I just had Charlie remind me in my ear of the quote he said, which is, as a kid he used to play 9 hours a day, so 3 games a week is nothing,
It's
but
nothing,
it's different,
man.
isn't it?
No.
Different levels, isn't it?
No, that's pot of yogurt and you're out with your mates. That's different.
It's a shame Eriksen's injured, because Eriksen probably would have started that game tonight.
Actomel and off you go.
I mean, moving on to someone who I'm excited they're back, thankfully, is Sabitzer. I mean, I think we're all a big fan of Sabitzer on this panel, aren't we? I really rate him. I know Faz does. I love
him.
Like him.
I'm a big fan.
I mean, Fulham coming up on Sunday, I think it's pivotal that he plays in the midfield.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon the midfield will be for Fulham without Casemiro there? Are you going Sabitzer Fred? Are you going Sabitzer Scott?
I think it's going to be Fred and Sabitzer. I think he's shown he likes that a little bit, doesn't he? We've seen it a couple of times already. I think that's what it'll go for.
Ricky will be crying if McTominay doesn't start.
And I'll be there with the tissue. Whoever it is, because it ain't going to be McTominay. It's going to be Fred. Yeah. Fred made some good passes today as well. At times he starts going a bit too much and he's too slow to release the ball. But he has some good passes. Look, the assist that he got against Barcelona, that's a proper Fred-esque assist. Touch, turn, zip the ball. That's what you need to be doing. At times he just overdoes it. I don't think you're going to see that from McTominay, let's be honest. No. Those sort of intricate passes, line-breaking passes from McTominay. McTominay is just a heavy hitter. You just bring people down, break play up. But with Fred, the only concern is he going to be able to cover when Casemiro, is not here now, it's Sabitzer, because Fred relies on Casemiro a lot, a lot. And
that helps him cover for Rashford. You see him cover and help track back when Rashford stays up, like we were saying before. He doesn't need to do it. Fred is good at covering over on that left-hand side a lot of the time. And when Casemiro's not there, you don't see it as often, because like you say, he's got to be in that double pivot alongside that second midfielder. Yeah,
we look a bit... I thought we got through them games, but I thought we looked a bit open when we had Sabitzer and Fred in there with Bruno. I thought we did look a bit open. And you look at Fulham's midfield... I mean, Paulina, Pereira, they've got a good team and they're doing very well this season. Yeah. So you've just got, I mean, I personally...
What position are they in the league? Are they not just about
they just,
Europe? They might qualify for Europe.
I think they're about seventh.
So they might qualify for Europe.
Having a good season, aren't they?
Fantastic season for a team that's been... Look, for a team that's been... For a team that's been promoted, and they're competing for the 5th position as well. A good few teams. For a team that's been promoted...
only 5 points in the 5th position,
and they've got some players that top clubs are looking for. You go through and end up in Europe and go through well in the FA Cup. Do you know financially what it can do for your organisation? That's a huge money for a club that's even promoted. That's unheard of. So Fulham will be really coming guns blazing, try and go past Man United and make a statement as well. To make a statement.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a super chat in from Hassan Mahmood saying, my missus complains that I'm not romantic. Can you give a shout out to Sidra so I can keep watching this live? Thank you, Sidra and Hassan, for watching the live. Thank you for that one.
Sing her a song.
Baby, don't worry.
They're coming to steal your missus here.
What do you want me to do?
Oh, apparently Paulina's out. Is he out?
Oh.
Is Paulina out? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's good if he is.
I was watching Fulham the other day. Was he not playing? I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting anyway.
I think one thing's for clear, on Sunday, whoever he chooses in that midfield is probably going to be the pairing that, touchwood, as long as they're not injured, is the ones that are going to go into the next league games, because he has to look at this now. He needs a partnership that he's going to be able to get us through until Casemiro comes back. And of course, the worry is when Casemiro does come back, we've seen it, he does seem to take time to get back into his stride. Could take him 3 or 4 games to get back to the kind of immense levels that we've seen him hit at Manchester United.
Definitely.
Before we jump into Fulham, though, can we please talk about Malacia? One of my favourite players, please.
I'll let it fast.
I enjoy watching
You've got 60 seconds, Faz. Come on.
Malacia, thank you very much for your services. Keep pushing, keep making those tackles. I don't need you to be the best in attacking. We've got Luke Shaw for that. But his desire to never give in a tackle. And some of the tackles that he makes, I'm even scared for him, thinking he might get injured. But this, I see a lot of wingers taking for granted, thinking, oh, he's a bit small or he's young or whatever. But people are not putting enough weight on the fact how he has performed against Salah and Mahrez. Saka got a little bit of him, but still.
But he learned from it.
Still. Mahrez didn't get Smith.
There is so much to come from him next season, especially, you can just tell by the way he comes on. It's like he's not missed a game.
Yeah.
He's never out of rhythm. He's never like out of sync with his back line. He's never keeping anyone on side. He's a fantastic player for the price that we got him. It's the craziest Murto madness I've ever seen.
I was just going to say, remind us, Faz, how much did we...
15 million.
15 million.
He was I think Fabrizio do Here We Go on him to go to Lyon.
Yeah, Fabrizio, and then he had to, obviously, Fabrizio, sorry, but I had to quote tweet you and laugh at you because it doesn't happen as often, but what a steal. He's probably worth, if he was playing like this in a Spanish or German team, he'd be 40, 50 million easy. Yeah. So we got an absolute
And that's
bargain.
the thing I love about Ten Hag, the way he identified this player when he was at Ajax playing against Feyenoord. There was that clip, wasn't there, where Ten Hag says, make a note of this lad. Who is that boy? Writes his name down. Definitely. And you knew that when Ten Hag was coming, it wasn't going to be all big names. I remember at that time thinking, be prepared for a few, left field ones where you think, oh, who's this lad or whatever. But classic example, as Faz says, 15 million. When you think United spent, 80 million on Harry Maguire. How many years ago did we spend nearly 30 million on Marouane Fellaini? We could be here all day talking about it. In today's market, 15 million for what this player represents, his age, and how many years could we get out of him?
There are players who make 15 million a year on wages alone.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. There's a player in Man United who makes 15 million a year on wages alone.
Yeah.
And to get a player like him, who, by the way, probably wages and no contracts, nothing matters to him other than the badge and the honour of playing for Ten Hag. Yeah. This is exactly the type of player I want, and I can see him winning titles with this club for a very long time.
I have to say, just quickly as well, this one for the Football Manager, he's like a Patrice Evra regen. He reminds me so much of Evra in that tenacity and that aggressiveness in tackles, and he's never fazed by anything. And the most important or most impressive I've been of him this season was Fulham away, when he was asked to play at right back, and he got cooked a little bit for a bit of his performance, but he was asked to do a job, and he went there. And for me, he was really impressive. It was Willian as well that he was playing against, but he's not fazed by anything, and he always learns. He's learning every time. We talk about the Salah performance. He's on the first half. He was on my side of the pitch at Old Trafford, and he got megged by Salah, and it was his debut as well. And I think some players, young players, debut against Liverpool at Old Trafford, could have just gone in within themselves, caved in, and he could have dropped a stinker. But no, he learnt from it, and then Salah didn't get a sniff for the rest of the game. I'm with you. I think for 15 million, we've really gone and got a massive gem. And I think after this season, Luke Shaw should really be looking over his shoulder, because he could definitely take his place.
I really, really like Malacia. I think you can't help but love, even if he does make mistakes, you can't help but love someone with that intensity, that great determination. Like you say, never say die. I love a player that puts in a really hard tackle as well, and he does that constantly. I think defensively, brilliant. Yeah. Going forward, needs to work on it. That's, I think, his place for improvement, I think. Once he gets that nailed down, which I'm sure he will, he's young. To have that depth of Shaw and Malacia at full-back is exactly what you want. Malacia knows his place, he knows he can evolve. Shaw is obviously number one right now, for me, probably one of the best left-backs in Europe, genuinely. And then you've got on the right-hand side, Dalot, who, isn't maybe in the best form right now, but we've seen what he can do. Wan-Bissaka, who's been resurged, that's the depth you want, and they've both got different attributes as well, the same as both fullbacks. So it's great. Suvic just said Beth was online when we signed Malacia. I was on live when we signed Malacia. It was like the first signing I've ever been on.
And look at the other masterstroke, Eric Ten Hag obviously thinks a lot of Malacia too. Then go, right, well, we've got Luke Shaw, who's been absolutely unplayable this season. What I'm going to do to get Malacia in this team is put Luke Shaw centre-back. And how well did Luke Shaw play at centre-back? It's crazy to look at that. And yet Malacia manages to get in the team with Luke Shaw at centre-back, because otherwise we probably sat here debating going, I'm not sure, how Malacia is going to get into this team. Yeah. But we've all seen a lot from him and thought he's great. But at the same time, you look at Luke Shaw and think, he's got a job on his hands to try and, displace Luke Shaw. But Eric Ten Hag just pulls another mad move like that off, shuffles it round, and it worked a treat, didn't it? Because Luke Shaw was like man of the match a couple of games he played centre-back.
Shawdina, that's what we call him. He was absolutely brilliant.
Do you know what as well? Hopefully, a lot of people in the chat are saying we make more of these type of signings under Ten Hag, because we've been missing doing that. We're so over the moon we got Malacia for 15 mil, because United never do business like that. It's rarity. So hopefully we just do that going forward. But Yeah, Malacia.
We've been down that route though, haven't they? All, you know, the big names, the Pogbas. The list is absolutely endless. There's players coming towards the end of their careers, the Schweinsteigers, the people who just knocked about for a bit, the Schneiderlins. You know, you look at the middle of that park, it took us so long to try and get this area of the field right, you know, and you just feel like you're getting there now with it.
Yeah.
What did City sign Julian Alvarez for? Do you know, them starters for signings is what we need to be looking at as well.
If we'd have listened to Ranić, there was Enzo Fernandez and Alvarez.
10 million.
Were names that we
Diaz as well.
Enzo
Diaz,
Fernandez for 10 million.
That's who he was looking at and recommended, and we didn't look at it. But you think Ten Hag comes in, a man of his own thinking, he's going to have these, hopefully have these little gems that we don't know about that can come in and perform like Malacia does, because we need them as well as the big names to make a great
Sporting
mix.
director / manager Eric Ten Hag, he literally did both roles last summer, didn't he? I mean, hopefully it continues. And the signings, I've got to say, from last summer, not all signings are going to be successful, but I think every single one of them's definitely, you know, added something to this team. So it's exciting times, definitely. I mean, let's move on to the Fulham game now and talk about that. Super important. I mean, Faz, you keep going on about Wembley, saying you want to go there.
Yep,
I mean,
of course.
Fulham are a tough team, but we've got them at home. How do you expect us to set up for that?
Look, Fulham, I think Mitrovic is available, isn't he, to play?
I think so.
I'm thinking so. But my main thing is, look, Fulham, the team, the fans, they really, like I said before, they'll be ready to make a statement. This is going to be a big year for them. I'm sure they'll have, you know, things in place where they'll have bonus clauses and X, Y, and Z, an FA Cup going into Wembley for a team that's been promoted. This is no joke. And on top of that, for a team that's been promoted, one of your targets is keep some of the players, right? Don't let go of all the players when the big teams come calling. And the second is just stay, don't get relegated. Fulham has done the total, started keeping their players and competing for Europe. I mean, Fulham is now Liverpool's rival. Let that sink in. This is Fulham is now Chelsea's rival.
Can't help yourself, can you?
This is
Get the dig in.
I just have to laugh a little bit.
But that is the thing with Fulham. They've been known as this yo-yo club, haven't they? And you see teams like Brentford, who are starting to establish themselves as Premier League clubs. Fulham have probably looked at that and thought, we need to be in this league now, you know, constantly every season and build on it. Yeah, there's no point coming up.
You always get that one club, don't you, that comes up and they perform higher than their expectations. The worry you have for Fulham is if they do well and get into Europe, does that team then get picked apart?
Yeah.
Paldiini's already getting touted around clubs. I know we were linked with him. I'm surprised no one has had that Andreas Pereira before. He's outstanding. I don't know where he's come from.
Whoa. We're not going back to our exes. We're not going back down that route. We're not doing chance. Pereira back like Pogba. But look, one thing they'll look at is, look, Leicester, West Ham, teams like these, they've had opportunities to score in Old Trafford, West Ham especially, right, with Antonio. They'll be looking at those games and thinking, look, if we can catch Man United off balance or we can catch them on a counter or anything as such, they do have a finisher up front. Let's not forget. Mitrovic, you know, he was doing absolutely amazing in Championship. So they'll be looking at phases of play like that, is where can we find loads of space in midfield. You saw today, obviously, I'm hoping it's Sabitzer and Fred that play on the weekend. But did you see how much space that we allowed a team like just Real Betis? Betis fade in games, but Fulham, on the other hand, they'll start getting stronger and more confident in Old Trafford. Fans will be behind them. You know, it's a cup drawer as well. All is to play for. We can't allow them any spaces, especially for their main man to get a header, get a through ball, anything as such. We got Weghorst, they got Mitrovic, and you guys know who you'd prefer in your box if you had to pick from the two. Let's be honest. So we don't want to be, you know, just kind of thinking we're already in Wembley, because I made this mistake, by the way. Obviously, I don't want to make that mistake, but just want to, you know, 45 minutes, get a goal in quick, take the adrenaline out the game, and then just see the game through with a 2-0 or something like that. I'd be happy with that.
I think we can all agree, you have to go with your strongest team. This is certainly not a game that you experiment with, going to look at. And if anything goes by the game that we've seen this evening, I think we were surprised by the strength of the team. I think I certainly speak for myself and say I thought there was going to be more changes. If he goes with that team this evening when you're 4-1 up in a Europa League tie, you know, he's surely going to go with his strongest 11. I know Casemiro isn't available, but maybe if Fred and Sabitzer are in there sitting in, Bruno again has to start. You know, the back four more or less picks itself. De Gea's going to start, and then it's your front three, isn't it? Does Pellistri keep his place?
I remember on Patrice Evra's podcast, he said, when I signed for United, Sir Alex asked me, are you ready to play every game? And are you ready to win every game? And I think Ten Hag is that type of manager. Yeah. Are you ready to play every game? And are you ready to win every game?
You said mentality, isn't it?
Never got hauled off at half time in his first game, so that didn't work out too well for him. But
was that Liverpool? Was
it? City won it.
City.
But then look how good he went on to be.
Legend.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's amazing. And I think the good thing that we've made Old Trafford a fortress again now, and I think teams come not expecting to get wins and results like they did in previous seasons. I know the crowd are going to be up for it, and all Ten Hag has to say is, guys, we're 90 minutes away from another trip to Old Trafford, and
Wembley.
That's not Old Trafford. 90 minutes away from Wembley, sorry, and you know they're going to be up for it. We've seen it tonight, a good performance. They'll be buoyed from that, and I expect us to go and win and put them to the sword. But like you say, one thing we're not doing enough of, I think, we've seen it in a few games, we're not scoring enough at Old Trafford early enough. And I think we need to be scoring more early goals and getting ahead in games and putting them to bed. And I'd like to see us do that, but Fulham are no mugs, and we saw at the game at Craven Cottage, they know how to put it about, and they have a really, really good Premier League team.
That's my one criticism, maybe under Ten Hag, this United team, that we do not, from the first whistle, you know, set the tone and intensity for a game. It does take us a while to get into it. Maybe, you know, in terms of like a boxing fight, it's almost like, what have you got? Yeah. You know, we wait, sort of sit back and then grow into the game. Whereas, you know, the days where we were spoiled under Sir Alex Ferguson, where it was 100 mile an hour from the first whistle, crowd behind you, you know, corner within the first minute, just pressure. Yeah.
I think that'll come though under next season, definitely. Yeah. And I've just seen as well, because I mentioned João Paulino, the reason he didn't play last game is because he was suspended, but he's back available to play against United. And
fresh and ready.
João Paulino, I've got to say, for me, one of the best midfielders in the Prem this season.
He's been brilliant.
Like, genuinely, he's been brilliant. So, I mean, I worry. Like, remember when we went to, I know it was Craven Cottage, but we were lucky with that Garnacho last-minute winner. Like, they are not a rollover team. They are a very good team. And
we don't have Garnacho, and instead they have a fresh player coming off. No injury, nothing, just ready to rock and roll.
Well, we could say the same about Sabitzer's coming in fresh. He's had that little taste tonight. He'll be raring to go.
I want to ask you, we obviously talked about the midfield, but front three, Anthony's obviously been ill, but we've seen him come back in before. Who knows what happens? But the front three, what are you expecting?
I think he goes with the same.
It has to be Anthony. It has to be.
If Anthony's fully fit,
it has to be. Let me tell you why.
Anthony's fully fit.
He's a big knockout game player. All his major goals have come in knockout competitions. So I'd play him and expect him to get a goal.
Only if he's 100%. If he's not,
he's under. I mean, international break is coming up, so you might be thinking Brazil.
And you'd start Rashford and Weghorst on the other side.
I have no choice.
It's gonna be in it. Yeah.
No choice at all, unless Martial decides to turn up, get a goal, and ride off into the sunset.
you might integrate him back in on Sunday. Who knows? I mean, Sancho or Pellistri?
Pellistri's put himself in the heart.
He has after that this evening.
For tonight, he's definitely done enough for me to maybe get a start. Like say, if Anthony's not 100%, maybe we bring Anthony on at 45 minutes.
Let's just say Anthony isn't 100%. You've got to play one of them.
I'll go Pellistri.
Who would you play, Pellistri or Sancho?
Sancho doesn't even come in the conversation.
Yeah. You have to go off current form.
That's wild to think that's what people are saying.
Just
like,
say
that's wild.
You have to go off what you see on the pitch, and like say Pellistri tonight really shown he can mix it with the first team.
Yeah,
totally agree.
I rate Pellistri highly, and like we said, we don't want to see him go on loan. But before we wrap things up, I mean, I'm thinking about that. We've done the Wan-Bissaka or Dalot. Who do you think it'll be?
I think again after tonight, I'll go for Wan-Bissaka again.
It'll be Dalot.
Me too. I think it'll be Dalot, but I'd go Wan-Bissaka.
I'd go Bissaka, but I think it will be Dalot. I think the Hag will go for that.
Yeah, I'd go Dalot because I need the attacking threat.
You need to tell him again.
I need
to get back in
I'll tell him, take me to Wembley. I told him, win me the Carabao Cup, he won it. Told him get back in form for me, and I'll.
Passive-aggressive tap on the shoulder he gave you as well.
Yeah,
A man motivator, right?
Yep, that's it. Get into.
Love it.
Interesting little stat that I just heard. Casemiro tonight got his 6th assist of the season, passing any season to Real Madrid for assists. So it's nice to see.
It's a wildly long stretch to call it an assist.
It was a good pass. Did you see it?
It's a great pass, but to call it an assist is wild.
Still an assist. An assist is an
This
assist.
is the problem with stats, isn't it?
Beth, what did you think of David De Gea today? Would you like to share with?
Oh God, he's come for me because I just mentioned.
I'm just asking.
I think we need to talk about it. I think he had a great game tonight.
I thought he played very well. Apart from one pass in the first 5 minutes.
His
or 10
kicking
minutes.
looked a bit better.
I thought he honestly, I thought he played well. I do.
What would you rate him out of
criticise.
10 if you had to rate him today?
Number one, because he's our number one.
I'd rate him 6.5, 7. 7 actually.
Oh, he's better than a
7
6.
tonight. I'd rate him a 7 tonight. I'd rate him a 7. I thought he played well. No complaints. No complaints.
No further questions, Your Honour.
The thing is, I want him to play well. I say that I want him to play like that every week. I want him to play well.
Put that wooden spoon
I
on.
really
Yeah.
do. And he made a couple good passes actually and played out from the back a bit more. Came off his line to collect the ball.
Yeah.
So all good from me today. And let's hope it continues like that. Anyway, let's round up the show. Let's round. 6.5 is harsh. I'd give him a 7. Let's round up the show on man of the matches. Double A debut. We'll come to you first.
Oh, man of the match for me. I mean, he scored the goal. He was angry at the ball and sick of missing. It has to be Rashford, match winner.
Nice. Kev. Brazil.
Casemiro, I'm going for. I didn't put this top on just for any old thing tonight this evening. No, Casemiro, I'm absolutely devastated. We're now going to miss him for 4 games, but we've just got to take our oil, as they say, and we move with it, don't we? But just so many great things come through him. I think anyone that doesn't appreciate him, maybe have a little look at that game this evening and just see what he brings to Manchester United, the engine room. You know, could have been a tough game on another evening at a ground that, what were you saying, Beth? It holds 60,000, you know, it's making a lot of noise, you know.
He knows it well. He's played there multiple times for Real Madrid, so he knows it really well.
Exactly.
So.
I think Ten Hag, listen, the attention to detail, he knows stuff like that. He can rely on a Casemiro to go out this evening. Yeah. He gets to put his feet up now because he's going to miss the next 4 games, but we will miss this guy. There's no doubt about it. You look at past games when he's not been there. You could even argue the 7-0 against Liverpool. You know, he didn't turn up that evening like a lot of players didn't. But sorry, I shouldn't have even mentioned that result again. I've said what result? What Liverpool result? Sorry, Faz, over to you, Faz. Sorry.
You know what the craziest thing is he's played Casemiro and he's ended up getting a suspension, Casemiro, right? Yet still he's done the same thing again today. The fact that he trusts him so much to the point where he says, I trust you not to get a booking today. You know you're on a booking. You know you're on a suspension. And yet he's still... I thought he's not going to take that risk. I really did. But Ten Hag has bigger cojones than I ever will. That's just what shows you. The risk that he's willing to take with these... On a game that's your 3-goal up. And you've decided to play one of the most important players this season who's on a suspension.
Yeah, I thought
he's really looking the devil in the eyes here.
I thought he would have been looking ahead now and thinking, well, what's the point of playing Casemiro? Because he's going to be missing for the next 4 games. I might as well use this game now as an opportunity to play the player that is going to replace him, you know, for these games coming up. But obviously, that's the way the Hag works, isn't it?
I thought I knew him, but you know, having him as my manager, I'm learning so much about him in these type of scenarios. I didn't think that. But you know, man of the match, I'll be honest, for Bans and for the chat to get rattled, I would like to say Harry Maguire, but I'm not. Before people start, I know, it's okay. Just for Bans, I wanted to say Harry Maguire.
You're in that chair, so.
I was with the chair.
I told you,
he was with the chair.
Sat in that chair, man.
I felt like someone was whispering something in me.
Did you not hear whispers of,
Elanga. But no, look, we give man of the matches to these players like Casemiro, Martinez, Rashford, week in, week out, and people will, of course, Casemiro man of the match, but I must give mine to Facundo Pellistri, because it takes a lot of guts to come and when you have senior players like Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, you're looking at, you've come to the ranks with Garnacho as well. Yeah. You're looking at all of these players and you're thinking, where do I sit? My agent was upset with the club. There was reports that his agent was furious with the club and he wanted his client out of the club. There were reports that he wanted a move and loan and this, that. Yet he still kept his head down and performed like he's gonna stay here. And that deserves a huge abundance of credit. Unfortunate that he didn't get a goal or an assist today, but you cannot deny the overall performance of constant work ethic. That's what's needed. So yeah, Facundo Pellistri for me.
Gets you excited.
I like it. I'm surprised you didn't go down the Malacia route, but I mean...
No, Malacia was fantastic, but look, I've given Malacia man of the matches as well. He's played more games this season as well, Malacia, and my expectation for Malacia is obviously more to come as well. But Pellistri for today, let's be honest, how many times are we going to see Pellistri start? He's still, Ten Hag is still easing him in. He's not going to start him in Premier League straight away, or he's not going to. International break is coming. Then there'll be Wembley and other competition as well. Europa quarterfinal as well. So he's easing him in. I think next season is more where you see Pellistri, more of starting.
I hope so. I hope so.
Pellistri.
Me personally, I thought Martinez was great tonight. Honestly, I thought Martinez was great, but I think
he
I'd
is
have to.
Rashford,
good. I mean, there was a lot of good performance, but I'd probably go. Bruno, I thought was really good tonight. I'm gonna go with Casemiro as well. He's such just a leader of that midfield, and he was brilliant again. And do you know what? Even though you said it shouldn't count as an assist, that pass was brilliant, and obviously the finish was amazing too. So yeah, I'll go Casemiro, but thank you everyone for coming on. A lot of comments as well praising you, Double A, saying we need to get you back on and how good you've done. So I agree, you were brilliant. And thank you to Kev and Faz as well for coming on as per usual. Always a good conversation, and an even more important game coming up on Sunday, Fulham. I mean, we're 90 minutes away, or potentially even more than that, hopefully not, from Wembley again in the semi-finals. I mean, I can't wait. So really important game, missing Casemiro. It's going to be tight. Might not be. I think it will be, but I think it's going to be a great game, and everyone will be back for the fan forum then as well. So make sure you tune into that on Sunday. But thank you for watching, everyone. Arsenal currently 1-0 up. If you want to see potentially what happens with them, go and tune into that. But we'll see you next time. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, everyone.